Hello, I'm John Michael Wood, aka the CEO of Maglon Incorporated. What you have in diagram 1 is an animation of my air intake assembly. Excuse the crudeness of it, but I have done it in Photoshop and it only took me 20-30 minutes to make. But it shows the emphasis of what we're on about by attaching the magnetic systems to the blades and making the blades magnetic too. Helps with the actual effectiveness of the airflow and creates static forces as well, which help charge up the actual alkaline jelly on the actual inside electric power generator on the ring on the inside of the engine. Well, I'll get onto that sometime in the future, but anyway. At the mouth of the intake, as you can see in diagram 1, the rotation of maglev of positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative all the way around. So like I was saying, each blade is attached to each individual magnetic system, but what you can do is you can elongate and shape the magnetic system in such a way that you can have multiples of fan blades attached to it, but you have it set to a minimum or a maximum depending on how fast or slow you want the engine to go. So I reckon that if you have a maximum of say 100 blades, it would go slower, and thus if it was lesser blades, say 20, it would go faster, because the airflow would be restricted by the other blades and thus make more intake more easier. Now in diagram 2 you see at the bottom, I was mentioning earlier about the vortices lip. Well, if that's all the way around, maybe you can do what they call multiple curlings inside. So when it lips round just once, maybe you can have reduced lipping, getting smaller and smaller as you go back towards the back of the engine, because the more vortices that you create, the more drag you create, right? So I'm thinking if you can create more of them but make them smaller as you go further back in the engine, you create higher and lower pressure regions alternating, and that's what I just figured out that it's possible. You could create what we call cedar without using any chemicals. Because what you'll be doing is, when you're flying through the atmosphere of a planet and you want to create rain, what you can do is you can accelerate and decelerate with the flaps open and closing. And what this does, it creates condensation and evaporation, re-evaporation, which cause chemtrails. But it's not actually chemtrails, it's actually vapor trail, water vapor trails, which causes reactions with the high and low pressures, and you can positively charge the actual vapor with your ions that you're creating from the actual magnetic drives, because it creates an ion positive charge. So I'm reckoning you can create thunderstorms with it too. It also creates cloud cover if you want to bring something big in. So what you do is you send the small planes in to create the seeding cloud for the big cargo ships to come in. Because what I was thinking is, if you build the engines just right, you could have cargo haulers, and this is what military like, you know, cargo haulers, 10 times the size of an A32 bus, or a 747, 6 times larger than the 747, and you'd be able to carry massive cargoes. People. One of my objectives with this engine is to create a recreational plane, a hotel, a flying hotel, using the Maglons, because they wouldn't require any fuel, because they're independently non-combustible and works on the rotation of maglev. It wouldn't require any fuel. Also, there would be amphibious, because you'd be able to go in the water, and the plane would actually be a submersible as well, and it would be able to fly through the air continuously without having any fuel, because it doesn't need any fuel. But because there's no combustion, you can make it waterproof, and you can go underwater, or actually go on the water as a normal ship and use the actual Maglons as propeller turbines. So you could literally hydroplane, because you could create the plane in such a way to change shape that it would turn into hydroplane form with the engines attached as drivers, and you could hydroplane. So that's one of my fantasies of what the engine could be used for. But like I say, it could be also used for cargo carrying, for cargo haulers, and we are talking 6 times the size of the Sandforce, having really huge things. But you need really powerful engines, and a lot of tweaking probably would be able to do it. So there you go. My ideas, number 2, 3, 4, 5, God knows how many. But yeah, just the animation in number 1 is it's just simplifying the basic dynamics of rotation of the maglev. The positive, negative, negative. Each sphere represented on there is a positive, negative sphere. And the way you charge and program them is helium oven baking, I call it, cold baking. What you do is you get a magnet and you cold program through electromagnetic programming, positive field, negative field, to create positive, negative spheres in the polarity. And what you can do is you can positively charge a sphere, negatively charge a sphere to create the opposing forces, so that the spherical system would work. But I thought that was more complicated, so I thought about elongating spheres so it looks like a teardrop with no bulbous at either end, so the bulbous bits in the middle, if you know what I mean. Sort of like a javelin. That's it. Sort of like a javelin shape, but more fatter, and it has the blades attached coming off of it, obviously aerodynamic, and that's the shape I'm on about. But you would have to make it really, really powerful magnetic field for that to work. There are complications, obviously, you'll find with the intake system, but always remember, never fire an engine up unless you're sure it'll work. And the smaller the actual prototype you make, the safer it'll be. I've thought about how to make the shapes and moulding and everything. If you notice, there's a cross fin section, like a tri-cross section from the middle to the outer of the engine in diagram 1. Yeah, they're holding things of those along the actual intake engine. Obviously they have to be aerodynamic all the way down, and it won't affect the actual airflow in any way, so that's one idea. So there you go.